Kadosh, Boker Or, Masechet Nedarim Daf Sadi Aleph Amud Aleph 91A1. Ve'amrina lei. So we just spoke about, does a woman that she's an Eshet Kohen, that she was Nensa, does she get a ketubah or not? Ve'amrina lei. So Rav Papa comes and he says, we answer to Rava, Matzniti needs a Mishnah. The Mishnah says, if a woman comes and she tells her husband that she's tmiya to him, yesh la ketubah, she gets a ketubah. But my skin, what are we dealing with? Israel. If you're talking about the wife of Israel, and we're talking about beratzon, she gets a ketubah. Where in the world does that make sense that a woman cheats on her husband? She does it willingly, and she's going to get a ketubah? Obviously not, right? Be honest, and if she was violated, mika mitzal gavra, she doesn't become prohibited to her husband. So what's going on? Ve'ela, but rather, Eshet Kohen. We're talking about an Eshet Kohen. Beratzon. If we're talking about beratzon, right? Klum yesh la ketubah. Does she get a ketubah? She doesn't get a ketubah. Mi gara me'eshet Yisrael beratzon. Is this any worse than an Eshet Yisrael beratzon? Right? Ela, but rather la. Be honest, we're talking about honest. Ve'ktani yesh la ketubah. That means our Mishnah has to be talking about a Kohen, an Eshet Kohen, and be honest. But if it was talking about an Eshet Yisrael, if it was beratzon, meaning willingly, for sure she doesn't get a ketubah. If it was be honest, she's not prohibited to her husband. She's not tmiya lecha. Fine, she was violated, but she could still live with her husband. So it has to be talking about an Eshet Kohen. And the Eshet Kohen, she says tmiya lecha, so she has to get divorced from her husband, but she gets a ketubah. So Ibai lehu, right? So therefore, that's muchach. That's what we're talking about. Ibai lehu. So we're going to ask now another question. Amra le ba'ala girashtani. Right? So what happens is, imagine a woman comes and tells her husband, right, you divorced me. Right? And where's the get? Got lost or got torn or whatever it is. So she doesn't have a proof. Mao, what's halacha? Is she now permitted to get married to somebody else or not? So Amar Rav Hamuna says, Tashma, we're going to bring a proof. A woman says, Timani lecha. Tafilu Mishnah Charona, that even the latter part of the Mishnah, meaning Mishnah Charona is after when you retract from the Mishnah Rishonah. Mishnah Rishonah is the first psak, and Mishnah Charona is the last psak. Sometimes it happens even in Acharonim. For example, you could have that, let's say, the Rav Chida says something in the first book, and then he says something in the second book, right? So therefore, we always go after Mishnah Charona. Mishnah Charona means the last psak that he gave, not the first psak that he gave. The Ketani, that's why it's so important to know the chronological order of which books did he write first. So the Ketani lo mehemna, we said that she's not going to be believed. Hatamud b'shakra, there she's going to lie. Because the husband cannot know if she's lying or not. That means if the husband does not know, so what do you want? If a woman comes right now to her husband and she says she cheated on her husband, can he know if it's true or not? How's he going to find out? How's he going to find out? So he says, but to do gerashtani, that she comes to Bedin and she says, my husband divorced me. Obviously the husband knows. So mehemna, she's going to be believed. Why? There's a chazakah, right? That what? A woman will never have the audacity in front of her husband to say such a thing. Mm-hmm. Right? Again, this is before chutzpah yaske, obviously. The last generation, there's going to be a lot of chutzpah, so that maybe yes, right? But what does that mean? That means, right, that basically a woman would never dare come and say in front of her husband, you divorced me, and it wasn't true. She would never dare say such a thing. Yeah? Amar le Rava comes and he argues, and he says, the opposite. Even according to Mishnah Rishonah, the Ktani Mehemna, that we say that she's going to be believed, Hata Mishum de la Vida Levazuya Nafsha, she will never be mevazah herself, right? Because it's a bizayun, it's a b'gam. You understand? At the end of the day, right? It's a b'gam. If somebody comes and he divorces his wife, it means that he threw her out. So it's like a b'gam for her that you're throwing me out. They always want to be, I'm the one that threw you out. You understand? And many times, by the way, we do that. Do you know that many times, even by shidduchim, right? We'll always ask the girl first, do you want to continue or not? Right? And the reason why is because if she says that she doesn't want to continue, a boy, okay, he was dumped, big deal. Okay, she doesn't want to continue. But for a girl to feel that it's much more of a disgrace. It's much more of what, he didn't like me? It's much more of a p'giyah. So because of that, even if the boy already went and he said, by the way, I don't want to continue, we'll never tell the girl, by the way, he doesn't want to continue. We'll ask the girl, do you want to continue, not to continue? We'll try to make sure that she says no, right? We'll try to make sure in such a case, you understand that? And then why? Because we want to make sure that her kavod is not gua. You understand? So the same thing over here. But here, the zimnin the takifla min gavra, right? She wants to go against her husband. That means sometimes you'll have a woman that she's mama, she wants to go against her husband. She's mi'iza panea. Sometimes you'll have that. It obviously depends what he did to her, right? And so on and so forth, right? Depends what, you understand. So therefore the same thing, okay?
Depends her origins, Rabbi.
Not only on her origins, depends what he did to her. I'm going to tell you something. I once heard a shiur from Bar Shalom, and he said women, right, are good by nature. Why? They come from flesh, right? They come from flesh. The men come from dirt, right? The men are the ones that come from dirt, which means that men, you have to refine them. Did you ever realize by women, naturally, they're closer to Hashem. Naturally, they're more refined. Naturally, who are the ones which are more behemoth? Whether it's in food, whether it's in relations, who is it more? The men or the women? Majority of the times it's the men. Why? Because the men are more dirt. That's what men are. The women are not. If you have a woman that's not like that, it means the man changed her. It means that the man came and he did something to change her form. Because really, by nature, a woman wants to do Ratzon Bala. By nature, a woman is good. By nature, a woman wants to be with her husband. Naturally, that's what it is. If there's something different, it means that obviously the man did something very bad in order to come and to make her into such a human being. Okay, it's based upon the Torah. לא חולק עליי, חולק על התורה. התורה אומרת זה. התורה אומרת, האישה...
אני אמרתי משהו, הוא מסכסך ואתה נופל לשטויות.
בסדר, אני רק אומר, So Mativ Rameshashia comes and he asks the following question. Hashamayim beni levenecha, the Hashamayim is between me and you. The Mishnah Rishona, we're on the bottom of Tzadik Aleph Amud Aleph, towards the bottom. Right? Hashamayim beni levenecha, the Mishnah Rishona. Right? What about the Mishnah Rishona said? That she's believed. So Tiyuvta de Rava, over there's a question against Rava. Hacha delela kisufa, because here there's no busha in what she's saying, because the chisaron is not in her. The chisaron is in him. She's saying that he does not shoot like an arrow. It's not a negative thing in her. It's a negative thing in him. So what are we talking about then? And still, we learn that she's going to be believed. So therefore, before we said she would be believed, because she's not going to make up bizayona about herself, that she went and she cheated on her husband. But here, she's believed even against her husband. And she's saying that he doesn't know how to shoot like an arrow. So answers the Gemara. Kasava Rava holds, Hatam Kevin de lo Sagila de lo Amra. There it's not a speak life. We're going to. She has to say, Hashamayim beni u'menecha en yoreh kechetz, ilo ita kedekamra lo amle. If it's not going to be like that, she wouldn't have said it. Which means if it wasn't a met, she wouldn't have actually said such a thing. That's what he's saying over here. She wouldn't have said such a thing. So therefore, right, because she would be embarrassed to see, because it's something mamash that they could find out. So therefore, because of that, obviously that had to be 100% true. Okay, fine. Hashamayim beni u'menecha. The Mishnah Rishona, Tiavitiyufta the Ramluna. One second. Here we're talking about that she knows if the husband is going to be able to shoot like an arrow or not. And also the husband knows if he could shoot like an arrow or not. The Ketanian we learned that she's not going to be believed, which means the Mishnah says that she's not going to be believed. According to Ramluna, even according to the Mishnah Achrona, the Chachamim will not retract on that. So what's going on then? So Kasava Ramluna says, Hachanami, so to hear, he gufa amra. He says, who yodea about the maaseh biyah, but he doesn't know if it's going to be yoreh kechetz or not, right? So only she knows if it's going to be yoreh kechetz or not. Because of that, she's going to be meshakeret, which means like this. Since we're not women, we don't understand what this means. But a woman, she feels when things are going inside of her. She feels, right, the liquids are coming in, liquids are coming out, how fast do they go out, how fast they're coming in. She's the one who knows how much goes inside. Right? When we want to actually ask a chatan, how much did you go inside of your wife, we ask usually the kala, because he doesn't know how much he actually goes inside. She will know how much he goes inside. She's the one that knows that something's going external, which is coming inside of her. So she knows that if it's yoreh kechetz or not, meaning the zera is coming out, she knows whether it's going to be shooting like an arrow or not. Okay, so she says, listen, it could be that he knows maaseh biyah, he knows that a semen is coming out, but he doesn't know if it's shooting like an arrow or not. Only I can know such a thing. And because of that, that's why she's going to be mishakeret. Okay? So now, listen to this. There was a woman that every single time that she had relations, she would come, and after tashmish, she would come and take his hand in order to purify his hands. Okay, because basically after doing relations, you have to do netilat yadayim. So, right, or some people say it was she would do netilat yadayim the night after the relations. Okay, Yom Achad atya lemayim lemimesha.
Why? No, it's immediately.
Yom Achad atya lemayim lemimesha. One day she brings mayim for netilat yadayim. Amarla, and the husband tells her, Hada minta lo avata inna. What are you talking about? We didn't have relations. Right? So imagine, the next morning, right, she comes to bring it to him, and he looks at her and he's saying, we didn't do anything. What's going on exactly? So Amrale, so she tells him, if so, right, one of the goyim, right, ahaluye, where that he sells Oziel is a type of like eseb or whatever, tahabu hachaina, that he was today, right, because I had relations then. The ant lo, so if it wasn't you, dilma minehon, so maybe it was them. So all of a sudden now, she comes and she says, listen, I had relations. Now, if it wasn't you, so then who was it? Yeah? So now the question is she prohibited to her husband or not? Yeah? So what happens is, now obviously here, it had to be a Kohen. Because if it was a Yisrael, she didn't do it purposely.
How she's not going to know who came?
Amar Rav Nachman, says Rav Nachman, right? Enea natna be'acher ve'lepa meshasha b'milah. He says she wanted to get divorced. And therefore, since she wants the husband to divorce her, so therefore there's no mamashut to her words. Meaning, stam, she's making a pretext that she wants to get divorced. So what does she do? She comes and all of a sudden she says, here. And he's saying, what are you talking about? No, last night. Nothing happened last night. No, nothing happened. No, so maybe it was somebody else. Yeah, Kilu, she starts making up stories. So because of that, Rav Nachman says nothing. Another case. There was a woman, but she wasn't happy with her husband one day, right? So she was upset. She was sad, right? Kara de Tisha B'Av, they say. Face of Tisha B'Av. Amarla, so she tells her husband, Hayina Maishna, what's different today? Yeah? So the husband tells her, what's different today? Amrale, she said, Me'olam lo tzartem b'derech eretz ki hayina. Right? I never had such suffering in relations like I did last night. Yeah, kilu, that you went hard, right? And therefore, I never had such a Amala, the husband tells her, Lo avada minta hayina. He says, what are you talking about? We didn't have relations last night. So Amrale, if so, she said, so it must have been these guys that they sell, neft or whatever, they sell gas. Maybe it was one of them. Maybe. If it wasn't you, maybe it was one of them. Rav Nachman said, don't pay attention to her. This woman, she's putting her eyes on somebody else. Okay? Okay? The second story with Rav Nachman. Next. There was a person that he was locked up in the house, right, with Balat Abayit. And all of a sudden, right, the Balabait came to the house. So the one that was thought to be like the Noef, right, he went and he ran away. Now the question is, right, he basically broke the thing and he ran away. You know, many times it happens. All of a sudden, they're coming down from the window, coming from this. Why? Because all of a sudden they're going to get caught. So Amar Rava says, Itata Sharia. The woman is permitted. Meaning, he comes home, the door's locked. No, all of a sudden she's with another man. The guy's running out of the door, like running out the back door or running out from the window. So im ita davad isura irkuse avamirkas. Right? If Behemet he would have already done the Isur, if he would have done the Avirah with a woman, he would have been hiding, right, within the house, and then he would have ran away afterwards, right? And he wouldn't have ran away, right, in front of him. Meaning that if Behemet he did something, he wouldn't have run away right in front of him. No. He would have hide, and after hiding, then he would have gone. Okay, another case. There was a noef that came into the house of a woman. Ata Gavra, the husband comes home. So all of a sudden the noef went and he was behind like a certain place hiding. Right? There was shachalaim. Shachalaim is like cress. And a nachash, which had poison, came and tasted it. So the balabait wanted to eat from it without his wife knowing. All of a sudden the noef comes out. He comes out from his hiding place. And he tells him, don't eat it. Because a snake, right, came and he already tasted from it. So now the question is, now the guy's coming saying, hey, who are you? What are you doing here? What's going on? And I said, like, what? Amar Rava says, Inteta Sharia. The wife is permitted. Why? In ite davad isura, nichale de lechul velemut. If Be'emet he would have done the isur, he would have wanted the husband to eat from it and would have wanted him to die. Right? Tichtiv, was it says in a pasuk, Kinafu vedam bidehen. First they have the relations. They do adultery. And then they have blood in their hands. What does it mean, blood in their hands? First they come and they do the adultery. And then they kill the husbands. Meaning they first do the adultery and then they kill the husbands in order to be with them. Okay? So says the Gemara. Huh? 1 second. So the Gemara says, Pshita. Well, obviously, a noef amiti, he would have had the husband die. So says the Gemara, no. Mao the tema yisur avad. I would have said that really be'emet, he did do the yisur. So right? So 1 second. So why did he tell them? Why did he tell him? So with this, we're going to finish Masechta. Right, another day, B'ezrat Hashem.